All right, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying our praise to Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. This is Milwaukee homicides rose in 2025, contrary to national trend. It's on Fox News. So, 9 times out of 10, man, the white man is lying because he's not lining up with prophecy that the times are meant to calm down. You know, but let's just say that this is true in most states, that the homicide rate has gone down. It's eventually going to rise back up because of the times that we're living in. So you got to be aware of the news. Remember, Trump said fake news. You know, you got to be aware of the news and the bullshit that's being put in front of you on the screen. Remember, they control the news media. They got to keep people's mind where they want them in each city. You know, all over the world they doing this type of shit. Just not just over here in America, but it's not lining up with the Bible prophecy. The Lord said the times we're living in perilous times. We're living in the evil days, the last days. So everything's supposed to be turning up according to Bible prophecy. You know. So I'm gonna go ahead and press play on this video, and it's a good thing that the homicides are rising in Milwaukee. We got brothers in Milwaukee. I used to prophesy in Milwaukee, and eventually, after being in Milwaukee, I think probably like our fourth year in Milwaukee, 5th year. That's when crime just exploded, and it exploded where? Downtown, where everybody hang out and kick it at. They call it Water Street. You know, right next to Water Street, you got an actual street that's for the LGBTQ community only, where they go and they party and whatnot. You know, people be out there in big ass groups and whatnot, but that shit turned into turning into crime scenes and gun violence was happening every weekend, and it's still happening. You know, so it don't even make sense on how they can say, and these other cities think they're cooling down when there's prophets all over the effing USA, you know, just as well as other countries and other cities, man. You know, so all praise that was Shad that homicides rose. They're going to keep rising. And this place is not going to be healed. This place is not going to get better. And you're not going to make America great again, which is a distinction from everything I just said, you know. But I'm going to press play on this video.
Milwaukee just finished a deadly year with homicides going up.
But other cities saw big drops. Jason Calvi is here with a look at the numbers and your safety.
Hey, Sam. Hey, Kim. The headlines across the country shared murder numbers dropping in cities like Phoenix, Indianapolis, and Denver. But here in the Cream City, the numbers didn't go down in 2025. Chicago reported the number of homicides in 60 years. Baltimore saw the lowest in nearly 50. Nationally, homicides were down. The real-time crime index of Datalytics suggests murders in 2025 saw the largest one-year drop. That index includes numbers from 570 police agencies through October 2025, so it's not the full picture yet. But Milwaukee homicides were up about 8%.
Now, just a month or so ago, they came out with how the mayors and the police departments are giving the real numbers on the crimes in their city. This was just news a month or so ago. And I was able to find that article. You know, they don't like to keep those things or make them easily accessible. But everybody knows that, man. You know, so don't believe this devil in these times. You'll be put back to sleep extremely fast.
I miss him hugging me. I miss his smile. I miss his smile. I miss his happiness.
142 homicides in Milwaukee 2025. 142 people killed.
That was my right hand man. That was my best friend.
There were 10 more homicides in 2025 than 2024, but still a drop from the city record of 2022. While Milwaukee homicides were up in 2025, MPD reports non-fatal shootings down 19%. Carjackings in Milwaukee were down 49%. When you look at crime overall, things have come down. Homicides were up in 2025. MPD reports non-fatal shootings down 19%. Carjackings in Milwaukee were down 49%. When you look at crime overall, things have come down. There's been a persistent issue around homicides this year, and it's terrible. It's unfortunate because every life matters. Like, nobody's life deserves to be cut short. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson spoke with Fox 6 before the new year. He said the city will continue to focus on holding criminals accountable, and we should also have preventative programs and opportunities out there so that folks don't do that in the first place. We should build strong families and build strong neighborhoods. Throughout 2025, we heard from victims' loved ones.
Put the guns down, bro. It get worse and worse and worse every year, bro. I'm tired.
Will 2026 be the year to listen? The Milwaukee Homicide Review Commission gives insights into who the victims are. In the first 7 months of 2025, it found 89% of homicide victims were black here in Milwaukee, 84% were men, and 42% were 29 and younger, whereas 57% of suspects were 29 and younger. The commission finds most victims knew their killer, while it lists about 13% were strangers. Kim?
All right.
And why is that? The precept that I'm on right now. And this is through the Spirit, because I didn't catch that the first time. This is Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, and iniquity is sin upon sin, the love of many shall wax cold. People are turning cold towards each other because they are iniquitous. They're committing more and more sins. They're going all out because of the times we're living in. There are no jobs. So how is the crime going to come down if there are no jobs? How is the crime going to come down if people's welfare has such strong stipulations on their welfare to where they're losing their welfare? It's not making sense, but it's making sense to the prophets. Just with the shit that they be speaking on don't be making sense. But that's for the sleep, man. This is
Strong's G 458 Anamia.
Strong's G 458, and this is for the word iniquity. It says the condition of without law. Right, they don't have the law. What law? The Bible. The Bible is the laws that you're supposed to be following, not the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and what your pastor telling you to do in church. Because ignorant of it, because of violating it, contempt, violation of law, iniquity, wickedness. And who is iniquitous? 2/3 of the nation of Israel. That's why the crime is so high for Israel, for the blacks. For all of Israel. But, Judah the one that's out there handling each other like that 9 times out of 10. But, or 7 times out of 10, shit. It says, illegality, i.e. violation of law or genitive case, wickedness, iniquity, the law, unrighteousness, right? So how are your pastors going to explain this to you? They said the law done away with, but when you go to break the word down, it says the fact that they're in violation of the laws while they're so iniquitous. Let's look up this word, shall wax cold. Shall wax cold. Because I was just thinking about something I looked up earlier.
Strong's G 5594 Sucho.
Pronunciation sucho. It looked like psycho. But it says to breathe, blow, cool by blowing, to be made or grow cold or cold, metaphor of waning love. What am I supposed to say? Waning. That's how you say it, waning love. To wane, have a progressively small part of its visible surface illuminated so that it appears to decrease in size. And I know that's far as of the moon, but that's the same thing as far as the word definition for the context that it's in, that according to the precepts, especially of a condition or feeling decrease in vigor, power, or extent, become weaker. Right, so people don't have no love for each other no more. What did I look up earlier? Cool. Etymology. Cold Old English called West Saxon, producing strongly the sensation which results when the temperature of the skin is lower. Let me jump to the point. The sense of unmoved by strong feeling was in late Old English. So let me look up that. Unmoved by strong feeling. Yeah. Web search. AI overview. The sense of being unmoved by strong feeling. Described being emotional, detached, or indifferent, often called emotional numbness. A psychological state where the mind disconnects from overwhelming emotions as a protective mechanism leading to feelings of emptiness or flatness, with related terms like stoic, phlegmatic, impassive, or apathetic, unemotional, lacking or not showing strong feelings, often when it might be expected. Right, they ain't got no love towards each other. Emotional numbness, blunting, a shutdown of feelings. People hate each other. Your own family member hates you. A defensive response to stress, trauma, all y'all arguments and things like that. Now they holding you accountable. All that fat. While we family, we argue, we fight, we make up. All that shit is going out the window for 2/3. As far as the scriptures go with the brotherhood, the scriptures say, "Forgive thy brother 7 times 7." And what's the other one? Roughly paraphrasing, so I won't forget it. In malice, I think it's called "In malice be ye children, but in understanding be ye men." Yeah, as a child, y'all would get into it, and then y'all make up 24/7, man. You know, so just roughly, you gotta do that while in this truth. Always make up with your brother. You know, unless it's just as he just being a real demon and shit, and then you gotta cut him off. But yeah. It says, a shutdown of feelings, a defensive response to stress, trauma, or being overwhelmed, making it hard to feel anything good or bad. Stoicism, enduring hardship without showing feelings or complaining, meeting trouble with calm detachment. Impassive, phlegmatic, revealing, little emotion, not easily excited or showing little outward feeling, apathetic, showing or feeling no interest, enthusiastic, or self-concerned. Okay, so yeah, that's what that word means. Not being emotionally attached and available, being cold, you know, that coldness is hateful towards your own, because everybody's out here sinning. Everybody got to how do you say it? Everybody got to everybody fighting to survive. It's a whole survival of the fittest situation going on, because everybody going through hell. There are no jobs. The welfare being cut. More diseases is being pushed out, and you know, people's spirits is naturally fucked up when they catch a disease, especially if they catch it from someone that's close to them, someone that they deal with, things like that. Those things are going on, you know. Somewhere in hell, in these cities, they send crime down, things like that. They just not reporting this shit. This 1 Corinthians 14 and 20. Brethren, be not children in understanding. You can't be no child in understanding. Howbeit in malice be children. Right. When you and your brother be getting into it and y'all eventually make up, but in understanding be men. Right, you got to be a man in this thing. What makes you a man? The Bible makes you a man. The true understanding of the gospel. You standing up and being able to forgive, not be emotional. It's another precept that say, roughly paraphrasing it, it's alluding to you having to make up with your brother before the sun go down. But I kind of forget what that precept is. This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 8. But now ye also put off these things: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Filthy communication is you changing the doctrine. You saying the law done away with. You saying you can commit adultery. You changing the doctrine. That's filthy communication, according to the Bible. Anger, wrath, malice. This is what's going on in Jacob neighborhood. All these things lead to them killing each other. Let's look at this definition of malice real quick. 3 and 8.
Strong's G 2549. Kakia.
Malice, malignity, malice, ill will, desire to injure. Right, you ready to kill somebody, put hands on somebody. Wickedness, depravity, wickedness that is not ashamed to break laws. What laws? The truth. This is Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Yahushua said unto him, I say unto thee, until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. 7 just means completion. You're always supposed to forgive your brother, man. Yeah, unless he just sinned through such certain sins. Certain sins the Lord will forgive, and certain sins the Lord don't forgive. Some sins unto death, like adultery. But you got guys that, shit, that's gonna be a hard one. Your brother has sex with your woman. Y'all both in the truth. And it was this guy that I heard the story from Apostle Tahar long ass time ago. This guy who had sex with brothers' wives, or had sex with a brother's wife, and then they kicked him out, and then I think they ended up forgiving him, and then he did it again, and the Lord eventually fucked him up, something like that. You had cases where brothers that commit adultery, they can be forgiven, but you might not want that brother around you no more. But yeah, as far as like a brother sinning against you and shit, you're supposed to forgive him. It's certain things that the Lord won't allow and tolerate, and that brother eventually get the judgment of being kicked out, getting kicked out the truth as a whole, But as far as getting into it, brother, you got certain instances where prophets got into it with each other and they had to separate from each other. The brother wanted to start his own camp instead of going back into that camp because of it, Yeah, in these times, you're going to want to be as humble as possible, because the scripture does says the meek shall inherit the earth. And that's the elect. They the meek, but you're going to have to humble yourself down in these times to get to heaven. And not have no ill will, no malice, But you always supposed to learn from your mistakes, learn from the mistakes that brothers make. And brothers, the scriptures say once you repent, you're supposed to sin no more. Meaning, don't go do that same BS that got you into it with that brother again to that brother, man. You're supposed to fast and pray, get them precepts, and build your spirit up. That's how you cleanse your way, by taking heed to the word, keeping that spiritual strength from that precept in your body. A lot of things you can be perfect. The Lord said be perfect, strive for perfection. So a lot of things you can be perfect with, Some things you might not be. But when it comes to the brotherhood and offending brothers, you better be perfect. This is Romans 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Right now is the time to awake out of sleep. Well, you know what? I can start at verse 10. Romans 13 and 10. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. You're supposed to love your neighbor. Esau is not our neighbor, though. Esau is our enemy for those who love the devil. And I only said that because that's normally what we break this precept down with. Your neighbor is your brother, the man of your nation, ultimately. So he is not a man of our nation. These laws don't include him, But Romans 13:10, love worketh no ill to his neighbor. You're supposed to have love for your brother. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And that knowing that time, it says, and that knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep. Right? You people got to wake up, because the news is put in place to lie to you. And then everybody start believing it, and then they get this herd mentality, and they keep passing the lies on. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe, right? This devil is trying to put you to sleep to keep you from knowing that your salvation is near, and even us that sinning know is nearer than what we believe as well, because we're not seeing everything. We're getting lied to. So we filtering to the best of our ability, but we are watching for the prophecies, But it's not going to come upon us as a thief, because the Lord going to protect us. The Lord will have it in our spirit to be ready in those days. So it says, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. The day is when the Lord returns. We're in the night right now. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. That's the truth. And casting off the works of darkness is having that malice and that evil and that ill will towards your brother, man. Being iniquitous. That's part of the works of darkness. Being in philosophies that are contrary to the Bible.